In this video, we will have a look at the oldest published version of a plus-minus rating for football players. It goes all the way back to 2015, but we may still be able to learn something from studying it. Hi there, I'm Lars Magnus, and this is another video about football player ratings. If you are new here, this is a place where you can find all kinds of videos about how to use mathematical models to produce ratings for football players. In this particular video, we will do a review of an academic paper that presents a football player rating model. The paper is called Evaluating the Efficiency of the Association Football Transfer Market Using Regression-Based Player Ratings, was written by Sæbø and yours truly, and was published with open access following a conference in 2015. Our focus will be on the player rating model that the paper describes. Given that I am one of the co-authors on the paper, you will hopefully not be too surprised to learn that there are a lot of similarities between the rating model in the paper and the rating models that we have been discussing in previous videos on this channel. However, there are also some distinct differences between the model in the paper and the models that we have seen on this channel. Although the discussed paper, as far as I know, was the first to present a plus-minus rating for football, it was not the first to discuss plus-minus ratings. In fact, it clearly builds on the work of McDonald, who developed regularized plus-minus ratings for hockey players. This is in turn a development that follows naturally from the work on adjusted plus-minus ratings for basketball, as described by Winston in his 2009 book called Mathletics. We should also mention Sill, who seems to be the first to develop a regularized plus-minus rating, published in 2010 for basketball players. It should also be mentioned that there were a lot of informal blog posts in the period between 2004 and 2008 that discussed various adjusted plus-minus ratings, especially for basketball. Now let's focus on the ratings defined for football players in the paper from 2015. First, we should recognize that the paper describes a regularized adjusted plus-minus rating. That is, the ratings are based on formulating a multiple linear regression model, but using Tikhonov regularization to estimate the coefficients instead of using ordinary least squares. The paper uses slightly unconventional notation, letting alpha denote the values of the independent variables in the regression model. There is one observation in the model for every segment of every match. For a given observation, I, the value of the independent variable corresponding to player J is initially given by this expression. The observed goal margin in the segment is denoted by beta, and the estimated coefficients of the model are denoted by x. Then this formula is used to calculate the player ratings as given by the estimated coefficients x. The lambda here corresponds to the regularization parameter. There are some additional aspects of the player ratings though, some of which we have already tested in our plus-minus ratings on this channel, and one which we have not yet considered. First, the observed goal differences are scaled by dividing the beta by the duration of the segment and multiplying by 90. Second, a dummy variable is added to measure the home field advantage. Third, red cards are modeled by adding dummy variables to represent the players being sent off. And fourth, the segments have individual weights. However, unlike the segment weights that we introduced in episode 9, the weights are not related to the length of the segment, not related to the starting time of the segment, and not related to the goal difference when the segment starts. Instead, these weights try to solve the following problem. In the regularized adjusted plus-minus rating models, there is an assumption that the rating of a player is constant throughout time. That is, if a player has a rating of 0.1 in June 2014, that player also has a rating of 0.1 in June 2009, and on any other date. However, in real life, it is fair to assume that the quality of a player varies over time. To deal with this, the paper suggests to downweight past observations, so that newer observations count more towards the final rating of a player. That is, if the age of an observation is t, the weight of an observation is e to the power of minus k times t, where k is a parameter indicating how fast the weight of old observations should decay. This may seem like a good idea. While it does not allow the player ratings to vary over time, it puts more emphasis on newer results and therefore may lead to more accurate player ratings for the current time. I'm not a fan of this trick myself though. Even though it may improve the predictive power of the ratings, it does not provide a holistic solution to the problem of having players' quality vary over time. Furthermore, if we want to compare the quality of a player that is no longer active with the currently active player, we are not going to have accurate ratings for the inactive player, as his observations have been heavily discounted. Let us do a comparison of the rating system in Sæbø and Hvattum 2015 and the rating systems we have seen on this channel in previous videos. The evaluation of the previous ratings are shown in this figure. Recall that better methods are found more to the right and higher up, with the first axis representing the validity of the ratings and the second axis the reliability of the ratings. The rating system of Sæbø and Hvattum from 2015 places itself just between the two different versions of the most basic regularized plus-minus ratings, as presented in episode 6. This is not too bad, but it does look like our current best method has benefited from our work on how to better model home field advantage, red cards, and to properly put different weights on different segment types. This concludes our review of the paper by Sæbø and Hvattum from 2015. If you want to see how we continue to improve our football player ratings and how we can use them to evaluate your favorite players, consider subscribing for more videos. I also want to mention some of the main results from the study in the paper. The paper presents another regression model where the dependent variable is the transfer fees observed for players going to English football. Several types of independent variables are included in the model, trying to explain the variance in the observed transfer fees. It is then interesting to see which of these independent variables are significant, that is, which of them are useful for explaining the observed transfer fees. We may then point out that the calculated ratings are most definitely helping to explain some of the observed transfer fees. From the set of 444 transfers studied, it may also appear as if South American players demand a transfer fee that is higher than their on-field performances imply, whereas players from the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland seem undervalued.